Hey, Shalom, Akim, Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashim Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings and salutation to the hopeful elect. Who is in this gospel abroad, lifting up the standard of Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, wherever it may be. This is just a quick lesson through the Spirit. This video was sent to me. This is out in Manhattan, Kansas. Show you that that's a straight up attack on the Bible. Okay, what you see here is a bunch of people on the corners that have these signs up which says circumcision cruelty to boys. Okay, then there was another one that states stop cutting baby penises. Wow, his body, his choice. Okay, now what you're seeing going here, circumcision is sexual mutilation, and what you're seeing here is basically a standoff between human rights, so to speak. Okay, you have feminism, okay, bigotry, or whatever the hell you want to call it, feminism. When you got her choice, her body, her choice, but you're seeing the aspects of the male anatomy as well that's being incorporated into this form of debauchery. Okay, because it's kind of like a battle between the men and the women. It's like a battle of the sexes, which this look like this is women, or I can't tell if that's a woman or a dude dressed up as a woman. It's kind of hard to tell, but basically you have a spiritual war going on here, just to make it simplify it, because you got women that screaming, my body, my rights, my choice, and men are saying the same shit, because like I said, there is a war on the spirit, and really is a war declared on Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai in the scriptures, because we all know, according to the Bible, the man or the boy child or the man child should be circumcised on the 8th day, according to the book of Leviticus, the 12th chapter, 3rd verse. Also Genesis, I believe I got the scriptures pulled up, but I believe it's like Genesis, like the 17th chapter, if I'm not mistaken, but I have it pulled up. But basically they stating that circumcision is mutilating the boy's body, but that's not absolutely true, because even Esau agrees with the benefits of being circumcised as a man. Now, Abraham, he wasn't circumcised until he was like in his 90s. Okay, but the scriptures go into a circumcision of the flesh and a circumcision of the heart, which the circumcision of the flesh is the physical circumcision, which is of the law, statutes, and commandments, or the laws of Moses, when the boy had to get his foreskin chopped off. Okay, and the Most High told us to do it for a particular reason. Now, when you go into the New Testament, yeah, that law is still intact, but being circumcised in the heart or the mind, meaning putting off the old nature, the carnality of the flesh. Okay, because honestly speaking, you're going to have some brothers in this truth that's not circumcised, but the Lord still find favor in them based on their faith in Yahweh Shai, which shows that it's not about the law. Okay, because according to the law of Moses, certain laws that you didn't incorporate into your life, you'd be put to death. Okay, but under the grace of Yahweh Shai, there's mercy. Okay, now we're not teaching breaking the law, because if you have the power within your means to do so, then very well do so, because Paul said that do we then make void the law through faith? He says, God forbid. We establish the law. So we are establishing the law, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, and circumcision isn't a wicked thing, but this is basically an attack on the spirit and on the scriptures. And this is what you're seeing happening here in America. And this is a primary sign of America's decay and ultimately being destroyed. Because when a society gets to this point, when it starts to cut out the laws of the Most High, that's when the Lord is pretty much fed up with the place and he's getting ready to destroy it. So it says, his body, his choice, stop cutting baby penises, which that's folly, man. Okay. So anyway, I looked some things up here and on Google, and I typed in benefits of circumcision, and it says circumcision may have various health benefits, easier hygiene, because brothers that's not circumcised, as you know, you have to pull back the foreskin, and you have to get all the grit and all the shit out of there and all that nastiness, especially if you're having sex with a woman and you're not circumcised. A lot of times bacteria can become trapped underneath the foreskin, which can lead to UTIs. It can lead to her getting yeast, not yeast infections, but basically it can throw off her pH balance, and it could throw off your balance as well, because sometimes the bacteria gets trapped under the skin because it holds moisture. Okay, same thing about like foot infections or like fungal infections on the feet. A lot of times people that play sports or athletes, oftentimes they get athlete's foot because of the moisture and the bacteria that thrives in that moist environment. So this is why when you get out of the shower or you get out of the locker room, it behooves you to, you got to dry that stuff off because, bacteria thrives in moist and warm environments. And it's the same thing with an uncircumcised penis, man. Okay, that's why the Most High told us to cut the foreskin off, which it was symbolic as well in the New Testament. But even in the Old Testament is because that's what the Lord told us to do. And when you look up the benefits, it says decreased risk of urinary tract infections, decreased risk of sexually transmitted infections, preventive of penile problems, decreased risk of penile cancer. Okay, and it says, what are the advantages of circumcised? It says the possible medical benefits of circumcision includes a lower risk of HIV, okay, which we know HIV is pretty much an autoimmune deficiency, which attacks the immune systems and it kills off all the white blood cells that pretty much aids in the fighting off of viruses. It says a slightly lower risk of other sexually transmitted diseases, a slightly lower risk of urinary tract infections and penile cancer. Okay, now, of course, you got this information out there, which tells you, well, it's really no benefit in not cutting off your dick and this and that, but it's just a bunch of madness. But the scriptures clearly gives us the parameters around circumcision. Okay, so this is the book of Genesis. This is the Most High talking to Abraham, or Abram at the time. So this is the book of Genesis 17:3. It says, and Abram fell on his face, and the power talked with him, saying, as for me, behold, my covenant is with thee, and thou shalt be a father of many nations. Neither shall thy name be called Abram, but thy name should be Abraham. For a father of many nations have I made thee. And I will make thee exceedingly fruitful, and I will make nations of thee, and kings shall come out of thee. And I will establish my covenant between me and thee and thy seed after thee and their generations, for an everlasting covenant, which that was a promise to the Israelites, to be a God unto thee and to thy seed after thee. And I will give unto thee and to thy seed after thee the land wherein thou art a stranger, in the land of Canaan, for an everlasting possession, and I will be their God. And the power said unto Abraham, thou shalt keep my covenant before you, because remember, the laws were oral at this time. And it says, and thou and thy seed after thee in their generations. And this is my covenant, and ye should keep between me and you and thy seed after thee. Every man child among you should be circumcised. So this was given orally. Okay, but as time progressed, when Moses got the commandments, the same thing that was reiterated orally was put down on tablets, which proves that we've always had the law, statutes, and commandments. It was just from a point of being orally spoken to the point that were written on stone. Okay. It said, ye shall circumcise your foreskin, and it should be a token of the covenant betwixt me and you. And he that is 8 days old should be circumcised among you, every man child in your generations, he that is born in a house or bought with money of any stranger, which is not of thy seed. And he that is born in thy house, and he that is bought with thy money, must needs be circumcised, because technically all of them came or fell under your particular rule, man. Okay, like even when we took the strangers into the wilderness in Egypt, they was even still bound by the covenant. So that, well, they didn't get the promises because ultimately salvation wasn't for them, but it's just like your slaves, so to speak. Okay, if you have slaves, they're going to be pretty much bound by the laws and in a feast that you keep because you rule over them. Okay, same thing in Babylon the Great, man. And we was in slavery. We wasn't able to keep Passover in slavery. But what we get incorporated into our mindsets, Christmas, Easter, Thanksgiving, 4th of July, and Jake started to keep those particular festivities throughout all the generations because we fell from the law, statutes, and commandments. Okay, so it says, he that is born in thy house and he that is bought with thy money must needs to be circumcised, and my covenant shall be in your flesh for everlasting covenant. And an uncircumcised man child, whose flesh of his foreskin is not circumcised, that soul should be cut off from his people. He hath broken my covenant. So it represents a covenant between Yahweh and Shem Yahweh Shai, okay? Which the covenant of the Lord and his people was to serve him, keep the law, statutes, and commandments, okay? Understanding the doctrine, and knowing the name of the Most High. And it's a blood covenant, man. It's an agreement we had. It's an agreement. That's what covenant means. And the power said unto Abraham, as for Sarah thy wife, thou shalt no more not call her Sarai, but Sarah should be her name. And I will bless her and give thee a son also of her. Yea, I will bless her, and she shall be a mother of nations. Kings of a people should be of her. Then Abraham fell upon his face and laughed and said in his heart, shall a child be born unto him that is 100 years old? And shall Sarah that is 90 years old bear? And Abraham said unto the power, oh, that Ishmael might live before thee. And the power said, Sarah, thy wife will bear thee a son indeed, and thou shalt call his name Isaac, and I will establish my covenant with him for an everlasting covenant with his seeds after him. And what's the seeds of Isaac? Jacob, okay, and Esau, but the blessing went through Isaac to Jacob and his 12 sons, which hints to us. And it says, and as for Ishmael, I have heard thee, but behold, I have blessed him and will make him fruitful and will multiply him exceedingly. 12 princes shall he begot, and I will make him a great nation. Because remember, Ishmael had 12 sons as well. And it says here, but my covenant when I establish with Isaac, which Sarah shall bear unto thee at this set time in the next year. And he left off talking with them, and the power went up from Abraham. And Abraham took Ishmael his son, and all that were born in his house, and all that were bought with his money, every male among the men of Abraham's house, and circumcised the flesh of their foreskin in the same self day as Yahweh, or as the power had said unto him. Okay, and Abraham was 90 years old and 99 years old, and he was circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin. Okay, so Abraham he didn't get circumcised until the age of 99. But even not only into the Israelites, this was a covenant that the Most High made with Abraham and his sons to circumcise their skin. So technically, all males, what they would consider of the Abrahamic, because for one thing, all males in general should be circumcised. I mean, that's just a commandment of the Most High. Okay, that didn't only just go down or exceed to the Israelites, that exceeded to like Ishmael. Okay, his 12 sons: Ishmael, Abraham, Jacob, Isaac, Esau. All these men supposed to be circumcised, man. Okay, and this is not to discourage brothers, because we know that it's brothers in the truth that's not circumcised. I mean, let's just be technically honest. I mean, you don't have to come in the comment board and say, well, I'm not circumcised, brother. What do I do? That's up between you and Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, man. If it's in your power to get it done, then do it. If the spirit ain't move you to do it, but you're teaching the word and, you're doing everything that's required, I mean, then shit, the Lord have mercy on you, man. Ask for forgiveness, because technically we're supposed to be circumcised, but we know that's not in every brother's power. And shit, if you're a grown ass man and somebody's chopping the foreskin off your rod, that's gonna be pretty painful. And most Jakes live active lifestyles, man. So you can't have sex with your woman. I believe it's like up to a month. You can't have sex with your woman, and you know how sexualized the society is. You don't pop your woman for a month. Shit, she been ran off with another dude. And I'm not saying that's of anything importance, but that's between you and your Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, man. If you can get it done, if it's burning in your spirit to get it done, then by all means. By all means. But personally, at this time and age, it's just like me personally, if I was in that predicament, I wouldn't want no grown ass man, no doctors at that, touching the tip of my rod, man. It just gives me the creeps. But you brothers out there, man, that's between you and Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. But anyway, back on topic. It says, and Ishmael, his son, was 13 years old when he was circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin, and the same self day was Abraham circumcised, and Ishmael his sons. It says, and all the men of his house, born in the house and bought with money of the stranger, were circumcised with him. So that was a commandment, man. Okay, getting circumcised. Okay, like when you go to Leviticus 12, it goes into the laws of motherhood. Leviticus 12:1, it says, and the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto the children of Israel, saying, if a woman have conceived a seed and born a man child, then shall she be unclean 7 days. According to the days of her separation from her infirmity shall she be unclean. And in the 8th day of the flesh of his foreskin shall be circumcised. Okay, so you look up the word circumcised. And the word is, what is that? What is that? Mawala. All right, and it goes into to circumcise. Let one be circumcised to be cut off. Okay, to be circumcised oneself, to cause one to be circumcised, destruction, to be cut off, to cut down, basically to cut. Okay, but what does Esau Edom do? He chooses to come up with these laws, to do away with the words of the Most High. He's making everything that Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai established for righteousness, wickedness. Because honestly speaking, having a penis or a foreskin, it can cause a lot of issues. It can cause you a lot of health issues. It could cause a lot of deformities and so forth, penile cancer, if you're not careful. We're not saying this is every case, but the Lord told us to do it for a reason, man. As well as the covenant, is health benefits in it. Same thing with the dietary laws. The Most High told us what to eat and what not to eat. Okay, because common sense, if you eat swine, then that leads to a lot of health problems, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, you know, kidney disease, all types of shit. So it behooves us to keep the law, statutes, and commandments because they're righteous. All right, this is the book of Isaiah 29, and I'm going to start at verses 15. Matter of fact, 16, it says, surely your turning of things upside down should be esteemed as the potter's clay. And Esau, Edom has took everything and made it wicked. It says, for show the work of him that made it, no, for show the work, say of him that made it, he made me not. Or should a thing framed say of him that framed it, he have no understanding? Okay. So Esau, Edom, man, it's to the point that Esau is playing a God. He's playing like he's the Most High, and he's not. You know, that's why it says, surely your things turning upside down should be esteemed as the potter's clay, because everything is backwards. Men could be women, women could be men. Now you got all this battle of the sexes nonsense, feminism, okay, bigotry. I ain't gonna say misogynist or misogyny, however the hell you pronounce it, man. But I gotta tell almost a kind of debate about that today, man, when people don't know the understanding of words and where they come from. So, but it's wickedness, man. And, you know, we need to get the hell up out of here, because this is the book of Isaiah 24. And I'm going to start at verses 24 and 5. It says, the earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws and changed the ordinance and broken the everlasting covenant. Okay, and what's that everlasting covenant that the Most High made with Abraham? Okay, that he was going to be a father of many nations, and through a chosen line, the promises was going to come through, and through that chosen line, Yahweh Shai, to be the King of Kings, was going to come and set up the kingdom of heaven on the planet Earth, man. Okay, so when our children are born, hey, guess what? They're going to be circumcised on the 8th day. Okay, don't get simple and say, oh, what if your kids are born circumcised? No, they're going to be born circumcised in the spirit, because they're going to have the laws written in them. Okay, they're going to be born through righteous seed, but still the physical anatomy of men and women, you know, we're going to still have to undergo some of those rituals, so to speak. Now, don't ask me to get into details. I mean, when we get there, I have no, I don't know the deep ins and outs of how the new bodies are gonna operate and how they're gonna look. I don't know, okay? But honestly speaking, even then in the kingdom of heaven, we're gonna still keep the law, statutes, and commandments. Now, the sacrifices of goats and sin offering from sin, that's gonna be done away for us, because we're gonna be perfect and upright. So we're not gonna need to sacrifice a goat or a turtle dove or anything like that, because the offer for sin or the sacrifice of sin have been accomplished through Yahweh Shai. So we ain't going to go off. So there's not going to be a need for that. But there are going to still be terms of the law, statutes, and commandments that we're going to uphold to the T, like the Passover, the high holy days, the Shabbats, okay, the circumcision of the flesh, all these, of the foreskin, Salakia. These things is just common sense, man. You know, but it says, broken the everlasting covenant, therefore have the curse devoured the earth. And what's going to be the curse? Those ICBM nuclear missiles, okay, with the chariots. And it says, and they should dwell therein are desolate, and therefore the inhabitants of the earth are burnt, and few men left, man. Okay, and that's the result of not keeping the commandments of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, man. All right, one more precept. This is the book of Psalms 82, and I'm gonna start at verses 5. It says, they know not. Matter of fact, let's start at verses 2. It says, how long will you judge unjustly and accept the persons of the wicked? Okay, and this is a prayer. This is something that we, you know, through the Spirit, we ask the Lord, you know, how long until you judge the wickedness? Because this place is Sodom and Gomorrah on steroids. It says, defend the poor and fatherless. And who is that? The Israelites, man. We're poor and we have no fathers. Our fathers are either dead in jail or they ran off on our mothers for various reasons. Whether she was a demon or whether the nigga was just like, he don't want to do it. But it says, do justice to the afflicted and needy. Deliver the poor and needy and rid them out of the hand of the wicked, man. And we're in the hand of the wicked, clearly. You see what was happening on the street corners out there. You know, these particular signs of my body, my choice. Look, man, nigga, you don't own your body. Your body belongs to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Scripture says, do not defile your temple, man. Okay, and it says, and they know not, neither will they understand. They walk on in darkness, and all the foundations of the earth are out of course, man. Okay, why? Because it's gross darkness. Scripture say gross darkness should cover the people, man. You know, So anyway, I'm gonna end it there, giving all praises and glory and honor that is due to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. And with that, Shalom and a Baba Ball. Shalom.